Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Tuesday, happy Christmas Eve. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for today and for the upcoming systems. You can see our system from last night that brought some areas of gap winds is clearing the area with some partly sunny skies and some showers behind it. And our next system is moving into the area already. You can see it already off the coast here. It should be here by Christmas morning. We do have some impactful weather potential to talk about as well, so let's get into that here. Taking a look at the radar real quick, you can see some areas of showers across parts of western Washington. Shouldn't be too widespread today. You can see more rain across eastern Washington. All of that's moving off to the east as this system clears the area. So let's take a look here at the Euro model. We're taking a look at precipitation type. You can see showers across the area today. We have a little bit of a break into Christmas morning there before that rain starts on the coast. Heavy at times through the afternoon and the evening. Look at all that mountain snow, heavy rain in the lowlands. That continues all the way through Christmas night into Thursday there, and you can see we have a brief break on Thursday before the next round of heavy rain and mountain snow moves in on Friday morning, and then that will turn showery by Friday evening before the next round moves in on Saturday early in the morning, bringing more rain and mountain snow. And this just continues. You can see atmospheric river across southern Oregon and California, and some of that rain moves back up north on Sunday, bringing more rain and mountain snow to western Washington before we look to finally lighten up by Monday and then have a break on New Year's Eve. So there's a lot of activity coming up over the next week here. And this is something I wanted to mention. We're looking at the National Weather Service Seattle's forecast discussion, and they're saying here that Thursday's weather has a chance to be very impactful. So basically, paraphrasing here, the front that's going to be moving through the area with a bent back occlusion, which is a poisonous tail, it's on the back side of a low, and it can bring really strong winds inside of it. It's the Weather Service is saying that models are having some trouble pinpointing the track of that feature, but it could bring very impactful winds to parts of western Washington Thursday early in the morning, potentially from Christmas night into Thursday morning. And they're saying that they'll issue a high wind watch for the coast for late Wednesday into early Thursday afternoon, and then keep it going for the Northwest Interior and Admiralty Inlet into early Thursday afternoon. And as you can see here, that has been issued. We have a high wind watch for all of the Oregon Coast Range, Washington Coast Range, and the Washington Coast and areas in Island County along Admiralty Inlet, and San Juan and Skagit and Whatcom counties as well. And if you click on one of these alerts here, so I just clicked on Skagit County, you can click on the alert and it shows gusts up to 55 miles per hour for parts of Admiralty Inlet, San Juan County, Western Skagit County, and Western Whatcom County. And if we take a look here at the coast, so let's click right out here by Ocean Shores, and you can see, I accidentally clicked on the marine forecast there. So now you can take a look at the high wind watch, and you can see on the coast, gusts up to 65 miles per hour possible Thursday morning. So what exactly are we looking at here? So this is the European model, and this is the ensemble. So basically, like I've been talking about the past couple days, there's 50 ensembles, and they all produce a slightly different forecast. So here you can see each ensemble puts the low at a slightly different place. You can see this cluster of lows right off the Olympic Peninsula there, off of southern Vancouver Island. This is concerning because this is a spot when you have lows move into this area right here, the very north tip of the Olympic Peninsula and southern and central Vancouver Island. That can bring very strong winds to parts of western Washington, usually in the bent back occlusion like the Weather Service is talking about, which is south of the low. So south of the low is going to be the strongest winds, and that is why the Weather Service is putting up those high wind watches for the Washington and Oregon coasts and for the Northwest Interior and parts of Admiralty Inlet. And this could bring, depending on the setup, it will bring strong winds to parts of the Seattle area and the Puget Sound lowlands as well. So let's take a look at some other forecasts here. The NAM model brings this much further north, and you have this low moving into central Vancouver Island, which would be much less impactful. It would really only be a coastal and Northwest Interior event that wouldn't impact the Puget Sound very much, and it would even not be too big of an event on the coast as well in terms of what we could have. However, you take a look at the GFS, the American model, and you have a pretty strong low right here off of central Vancouver Island, and you can see it's a little bit of a double barrel low. It has a low here, and then it has a little bit of a feature here on the west, or on the east side of it there, and you got these like two little lows that move into southern Vancouver Island and central Vancouver Island. This would be impactful. It would bring some strong winds across parts of western Washington and on the coast, and you can see how there's a big pressure gradient behind that low. And however, it could be more impactful, and that's what we're looking at here on the high-resolution rapid refresh model. You see a pretty strong 976 millibar low moving into central Vancouver Island. Very sharp pressure gradient behind it. You can see as that moves in there, you have this sharp pressure gradient across all of western Washington and western Oregon on the coast and in the interior. And this forecast is actually a very good illustrator of that bent back occlusion. So you can see the high resolution rapid refresh forecast is on the left here, and see these bands of strong winds. That is the south side of that low, and you have this bent back occlusion. Sometimes it's also called a sting jet, and it moves straight into the coast there and brings these really big winds. You can see it potentially in this scenario, which I wouldn't don't just take this all with a grain of salt. Even though we're only a couple days out, there's still a lot of disagreement on the forecast, but this is just a good illustration of this. They have this narrow area of really strong winds, and you can see that in this scenario impacts the northern coast and parts of the San Juan Islands, Victoria, BC, parts of the Strait, and then you have strong winds across the coast and the interior. This is a high-end situation, which very well could verify. That's very possible at this point, where you have gusts of 70 plus miles per hour along the immediate coastline, 60 miles an hour just inland, some isolated locations potentially 75 plus miles per hour in that bent back occlusion, and then you have gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour up the entire interior there, especially from Seattle northward. But then you take a look at a different scenario here from the European model, which is known for being very accurate. It has a different track for this low. You can see that there's higher winds up here off Vancouver Island, and then a coastal jet here along the Oregon coast, with gusts on the Washington coast not being that significant, only 50 to 55 miles per hour on the coast in the northwest interior, and 40 plus miles per hour there in the Puget Sound. So there's a lot of disagreement only about 2 days out from this storm. So stay tuned to all of my social media and here to the YouTube channel. I'll have another video tomorrow morning. Even though it is Christmas, I'll be doing a video. We'll look in depth at what this storm could bring, and we hopefully will have some more model agreement by that point. So now let's take a look at what we're expecting over the next few hours. Here's the high-resolution rapid refresh simulated radar here. You can see some showers moving across the area today into tonight. You see just a few of those showers into early on Christmas there, and then by about 5 a.m. there, that rain starts to move in on the coast, reaches the lowlands by about 8 a.m., and then we'll have moderate to heavy rain and heavy mountain snow all day on Christmas. And then you can see that continues into Christmas night, though, with more heavy rain and mountain snow. So here's the big thing. If you're going to be traveling across the passes for Christmas, be prepared for some pretty dicey conditions. This is just hours of heavy snow across Snoqualmie, Stevens, and White Passes, in addition to all this heavy rain in the lowlands. So driving conditions are not going to be very good out there. And combine that with the potential for these winds, and we could have a lot of travel impacts for the holiday. So taking a look at rain totals here. As we go through today, you can see light rain across the area, mainly in the mountains with some of those showers. And then as we go into Christmas, you can see that rain starts to pile up there with totals by... Let's take this all the way to Friday evening there. You can see 2 inches of rain from Everett southward. Rain shadow from Everett to Bellingham bringing about 0.9 to 1.5 inches. And then you can see the coasts are getting 4 to 5 inches of rain. Even the Kitsap Peninsula could get up to 4 inches by Friday. And now you take a look at the snow. We put this through to Friday as well. You can see how that heavy snow starts to pile up by the time we get to midday Christmas there. And that just continues through Thursday and into Friday. Through Friday evening, we're looking at potential of about 12 to 18 inches of snow at Snoqualmie Pass, and then places like Stevens Pass and White Pass getting 24 to 30 inches of snow. So that's over 2 feet at some of those higher passes. So the big thing here, if you're going to Leavenworth, yes, it will be beautiful. There will be some snow, but you're going to have a hard time getting back to Seattle. 2 feet of snow in 3 days on Stevens Pass, that will cause some impacts. So heads up if you're traveling to Eastern Washington, including Leavenworth, for the Christmas holiday and any times around that. The snow will not end on Friday. We'll have more snow going into the weekend. So just heads up if you're going across the state. And also wanted to mention here, we do have some big waves that are going to be happening. These are the waves associated with yesterday's bomb cyclone moving into Vancouver Island. You can see decent waves along the coast as well. And then here, as we go into Christmas there, you can see more big swells reach the coast. With this potential storm that's going to spin up here, we could have even more big waves along the Washington coast. You can see those large waves continue on Thursday into Friday. There are more big waves Friday morning. Take a look at that on the European model. Just really big waves there going into the northern Washington coast. And then we get another round of those big waves moving into the Washington coast on Saturday as well. So there's a lot of waves going on. So heads up, if you're on the coast, those waves are really fun to watch, and it's very exciting, but it can also be very dangerous with beach erosion. You got logs moving up, you've got sneaker waves, all that kind of stuff that can be dangerous. So be careful if you're out there. And as always, there's a ton going on. So how can you follow me and get more updates? You can subscribe here on YouTube. You can join the Western Washington Weather Facebook group, and you can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter. And all of those links are in the description below. So stay tuned for more, and I will have another video for you guys tomorrow.